COVID-19 led to profound changes in the way consumers behave. Globally, brands had to change the way they interact with customers as we adapt to the new norms of purchasing from home. What is this new norm? What are the successful use cases that have been taken in order for business to survive? I'm very glad to have 5 impressive executives with me today. So I will listen. They will bring some concrete story, concrete answers to this question. So let me welcome Daniel Hodge, founder and CEO of Consumer in Motion. Michael Moden, head of distribution business development at TikTok. Jeff Miller, president and CEO of Synchronous Technologies. Kerstin Trikalitis, CEO and co-founder Out of Media. And finally, Roger Sandra, Managing Director, Barcelona for Dentsu. Have a seat.
Hi, I'm Kerstin. I'm one of the founders and CEO of Out There Media. We are in the business of bridging the gap between mobile network operators and advertisers via our technology, in which we are reaching target audiences at scale. Today, we reach approximately 1 billion users via our mobile network operator partnerships and our technology. And the most significant thing we've done during the pandemic, and maybe even one of the most significant things in the history of our company, is we teamed up with the World Health Organization to run the largest ever Corona campaign in the fight against misinformation. We've run this campaign globally, entirely pro bono, to 300 million citizens together with the WHO, with important information messaging campaign utilizing all messaging formats, including RCS, to get the right information out around staying safe during this pandemic.
Thank you. Roger?
The new norm is power to the consumer, I believe. And that's tough days for brands because the choice is really in the palm of the hand of the consumer. They have the opportunity to the competition is just one click away. They have the opportunity to just judge and kill a brand or make a brand, especially also using the communities in places such as TikTok. TikTok being that it's so enormously successful, and hence it's power to the consumer. Brands need to become more relevant. Their offering is being much more comparable. They have to be making sure their offering is at the right price point. And so there will be big winners and there will be big losers.
Yes, sure. So it's all about adaptability, right? So also to Michael's point, the brands that are going to win this are the ones that are able to adapt in almost real time to, in that specific case, how the community behaves in TikTok, for example, what they want, feeling their pulse and their sentiment in real time, and hence adapting their message immediately to stay relevant. So our example here is, we were ready with a campaign early March 2020 for the Fanta brand, for Coca-Cola, for the Fanta brand. No, but it is part of Coca-Cola. What it was all about, so the campaign was, go out with your friends, watch movies and enjoy Fanta. There was this whole campaign of get together, watch movies, have a blast and drink Fanta. That was supposed to go out early March. Within a week, when the first lockdown started, we immediately had to change basically 180 degrees that messaging to the opposite of, hey, we're gonna give you 1 gigabyte free of data, we as in Fanta, every week to stay home, enjoy Fanta alone, have a blast, watching movies alone at home, stay home, here's 1 gigabyte. And that really happened, in almost no time to adapt that campaign that had been signed off, was ready to go out, and then had to change it entirely to then fit the new norm within a few minutes. So it's back to adaptability. The brands that have this way of being fast and getting that pulse of everything and adapting quickly, those are the ones that are winning.
Very, very impressive. So we have a lot of businesswomen, businessmen, and when we are speaking about advertising or marketing campaign, we want to talk about KPI, and I was quite impressed by the KPI you managed to reach with your campaign. Maybe if you can share a few figures.
Yeah, so the interesting part was during the pandemic, and it still is, I mean, we're still in the pandemic, right? So our response rates have been soaring, going up to 30-40% of response rates, people engaging with the campaigns because of relevance. So because of micro-targeting at scale, and hence one-to-one communication or almost personalization, that leads people to feel touched, to feel understood, and hence engage. So 30%, 40% engagement rates, response rates are unheard of. And even that campaign that I spoke about in the beginning, which is a fight campaign against the, or for the fight against Corona, to fight misinformation, it was really about the classical messages that the World Health Organization was communicating, like stay safe, keep the distance, do this, interactive. 40% of the, and I said it before, the number is big, 300 million citizens to date across Europe, Asia, and Africa. 40% opted in at the end of that engagement to receive information from the World Health Organization. Also, that is unheard of. That was because it was relevant, it was accurate, it came from a trusted source. So these are kind of the KPIs.
And maybe same question to the other. Do you think it will last, or back to it will be still present in the new norm we will live?
So I think if we get it right, as all of my co-panelists have said before, if we get that right mix right of the hybrid consumer, and I think we'll talk about that a bit later, experience, keeping that level of experience up, keeping the level of relevance up, very, very important, almost one-on-one communication. Adaptability, I believe that will lead us all into a new era of communication, a new era of how we advertise, because it's not advertise, it's really becoming one with the user. It's a new era, the way I call it, the new era of communicating and sharing and advertising. And I believe, yes, that aspect will stay.
Thank you, Kerstin. Roger.
I'd like to add something here. So in the developing world, we have a credit card penetration of approximately 5% across the developing world, unlike the West. And this pandemic has shown that the way the developing world is adapting and simplifying the path to purchase, really from a messaging experience, one click to actually buy something over your mobile phone, is to charge your mobile phone bill. And that is the norm in the developing world, and that is going to, and that has also increased by, I don't know, 200-300% over the last 12 months. Forms of mobile money, direct carrier billing, where people really purchase the product on their phone bill. They don't need to have a credit card, or they don't need to be banked. And most of these people, 95 of these people are unbanked. And I believe that corresponds to approximately 5 billion people in the world, so it's pretty significant. And I think that is the consumer that we have to all watch over the next decade. And that consumer, you know, is going to be making themselves heard and have a voice way more than in the past. So you just said, is it only for large brands or everybody can play? And I think that's exactly the point. Everybody can play as long as they're relevant, as long as they don't misuse your trust. So yes, data, but don't misuse it. And as long as they're able to adapt immediately, then everybody can play. And I think that's the new norm. And the other, it ties into the hybrid consumer. So we are here sitting at, this panel I think is called a hybrid panel, or the next one is called a hybrid. I think this is a physical. Last one was called a virtual. So we have hybrid events like Mobile World Congress this year. We have hybrid workforce, people who are partly working from home, partly working from the office, and we have the hybrid consumer who will go to the store if and when they are craving an experience. And if and when the item they're about to buy, like for example clothing, is important that they get the overall experience, and hence the service personnel also in the store have to become better in giving that experience. So that's going to make them improve, the offline experience improve. On all the other stuff, and restaurants and socializing, I think that will almost totally bounce back to pre-pandemic. But then there's a ton of products and stuff that are more commoditized, the grocery stuff, technology stuff, that people will not go necessarily back to purchasing offline anymore. They will rely on their community, they will rely on their advocacy, and just do those low-touch items online, and that will continue to grow. So that's why we call it the hybrid consumer, both, and the best of both worlds. Thank you.
Thank you very much.